Inside the cell, we'll start with the most important thing, which is called the nucleus. 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 It is the control center of the cell. It contains the genetic material and makes all the decisions. So if a cell was a school, the head teacher, Mrs. Brown, would be our nucleus, along with the rest of the senior management team. Around the nucleus is a jelly-like substance. You can think of it like wallpaper paste or like very gloopy, snotty jelly. This is called the cytoplasm. So Cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is the site of most chemical reactions in the cell. So most of the reactions that happen in the cell, most of the things it decides to do, need to happen within the cell, happen in the cytoplasm. And as you move up the school, we talk about other little things that live inside the cytoplasm: mitochondria, ribosomes, chloroplasts, your Golgi apparatus, your endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, all these things. We're just going to currently put under the branch of cytoplasm. And if we just left it at that, if we didn't have the third box, which is the cell membrane, not cell wall, cell membrane, then all of the gloopy jelly from here would just float away because it's got no particular wish to be inside this cell. So we need to have a very thin wall around the outside of this cell. It's not a wall in that it's hard, it's just a kind of flexible divider that keeps the insides of the cell in and the outsides of the cell out. This is the cell membrane. So cell, C-E-L-L, and then membrane, M-E-M-B-R-A-N-E. So the cell membrane, because of some of the fancy-schmancy chemistry, decides what can get in and out of the cell. It keeps the cytoplasm and the nucleus in, and it keeps all the other bad stuff out. In our plant cell down here, I'll wait until that little bar disappears, and then I won't move the mouse again. We have a black dot, so maybe I'll just move it once. We have this black dot here, which I think in this picture is our nucleus, so again, control center of the cell. We have the cytoplasm, which is this box on the left here. So again, we have the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and if we just tick off our last animal cell part, the cell membrane, which was here, is here. So cell membrane is this box here. So that's half of the boxes named. We have our nucleus, which was the black dot, the jelly-like substance bottom left is the cytoplasm, and top right was the cell membrane. We've got 3 new boxes though now. So if we start with the green circle, I said that there's some other things that happen within the cytoplasm, and that some of these things happen within what's called the chloroplast. Photosynthesis happens within what's called the chloroplast. So this box here is the chloroplast. It's C-H-L-O-R-O-P-L-A-S-T. Difficult to spell off the top of my head. Chloroplast. Now, the chloroplast is where the plant gets its energy from. Animal cells are attached to animals, and animals have mouths. We open our mouths, we put things in them like oxygen and food. We break that food down and deliver the oxygen and the energy from that food to our cells. Plants have they evolved before us. They didn't think of getting a mouth, essentially, so they're a bit stuck. They have to first make that energy before they can then break it down in their cells. So the first thing they do is they have these little green dots in their cell, and they expose them to the light of the sun. And sunlight will go into these green circles, and through a fancy process, will turn the gas carbon dioxide into oxygen and energy, the things that we get by opening our mouth, basically. And then it will then turn that oxygen energy into something it can use within the cell. So this is a chloroplast. This white line here shows the outside of what's called the vacuole. Now, plant cells tend to take in water, tend to lose water quite a lot, and they have a lot of different things that they need to store. So they store things like water and nutrients in what's called a vacuole. V-A-C-U-O-L-E, vacuole. Now, the vacuole is where they store their water, store some of their salts, store some of their nutrients, and it's basically like a little pantry, kitchen that they have within the cell. The final box that we have is this one up here. Now, this thick line here, this kind of, I'm a bit colourblind, but green, light greeny colour, all the way around the outside, is the cell wall, which is what this is pointing out. Now, the cell wall is thick. It's made of a substance called cellulose in plants, and it gives the cell a little bit more structure. If you imagine a human cell, which is an animal cell, which is this flippy floppy thing, if you stacked those on top of each other just continuously, you can't really get over about 2.5, 3 meters before the kind of squishiness of this cell means that there's an awful lot of pressure pushing down on it. It's not got a lot of integrity to its structure. So animal cells aren't very good for stacking. They don't have very good structural support. Whereas plant cells, every one of their cells has this strong wall around the outside, and it gives it a little bit of support, a little bit of structure, and it means you can stack them 100 feet tall on top of each other to make things like giant redwoods. So we have the cell wall, the cell membrane, the chloroplast, the nucleus, the cytoplasm, and the vacuole. So the nucleus, control center of the cell, control substances moving in and out is the cell membrane. Jelly-like substance is the cytoplasm, stores cell sap, that is the cell vacuole. The chloroplast is the site of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is PHOTOSYNTHESIS. Proud of myself again for spelling that off the top of my head. And gives the cell shape and structure is the cell wall. People often get the cell membrane, which all cells have, and the cell wall, which only plant cells have, mixed up. So try not to do that. Animal cell has nucleus, cell membrane, and the cytoplasm. Plant cells also have the chloroplast, the vacuole, and the cell wall. So that's this one. I'm just going to quickly, while we're here, chuck the check test in. This is a check test that you should have done this week. So 3 things that are in all cell types. So all cells have cell membrane, a nucleus, and a cytoplasm, because that's in both animal and plant cells. And when we look at fungi and bacteria, for the most part, they have these things as well. What structure within a cell controls what can enter and exit? So that is the cell membrane. Remember, it's around the outside of the cell. It keeps the cytoplasm and nucleus stuck in the middle, and it decides what comes in and out. What's the function of the cytoplasm? So it's the site of chemical reactions. Follow this through and see if I get them right at the end. 3 structures co-analysis. Structures within the cell contain DNA and controls the activity. That's a nucleus, so it's the control center of the cell. What's the function of the chloroplast? It's the site of photosynthesis. And what structure gives the cell its rigidity? That is the cell wall. Okay, so hopefully we understand that. And we'll be able to move forward next week into one of the other videos.